This is a letter that my mom wrote to me when I decided to quit college and pursue my dream of being a professional MMA fighter. Ian, taking a year out to figure out what you're going to do is stupid. I will not support someone who gives up on themselves and takes the easy way out. Being the next Conor McGregor is not planned. I had my first amateur fight 3 years and 8 months ago. I'm in the UFC now. My name is Ian Garry. I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I'm 23 years of age. I'm making my UFC debut on November 6th at Madison Square Garden, and I'm going to show everybody what the future really is. Life as a kid in Dublin was great. I was filled with a lot of love as a child. My dad was sick a lot as a kid, but my mom done everything she could to make sure we were at training, make sure we were at school. I started sports when I was about 4. So I started playing Irish traditional sports, which are Gaelic and hurling. When I was 10, I went and joined the boxing gym, and I was just hooked. I loved the idea of punching someone and not getting hit. The start of my love for mixed martial arts was boxing when I was a child. And I remember going to events in the 3 Arena in Dublin, and I watched Bernard Dunn win a world title. I remember going, one day I'm gonna do something like that. Now, back then I would have never imagined it would have been MMA, it would always have been boxing. But then, this fella, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but Conor McGregor, he came up in this thing called UFC, and it just blew up. I said it to my mom, I want to join MMA. She said, not a chance. She said, I know what'll happen if you join an MMA gym. You'll do absolutely nothing. I decided when I started college, I would look into joining a gym. I quit college. I rang my uncle, I asked him for a job. I worked cleaning windows full time. Working so early gave me the opportunity to then, at night time, just focus on training. I really enjoyed window cleaning. Other than the fact that there was days where I absolutely cried from the cold, there was a lot of learning, a lot of maturity in that time, and so much respect and appreciation for my uncle, because without him and his company's support, I wouldn't have been able to necessarily pursue what I'm doing now. He enabled me to continue my dream while still making money. My coach at the time called me and said, hey, what weigh do you? I said, why? He said, because we've got a short notice fight. I need you to be honest with me. Can you make weight? I said, yeah. He said, all right. I hung up the phone, made the call, called me back and said, you're making your pro debut next week in Liverpool for Cage Warriors. And I was like, unbelievable. I was fighting a guy who went pro before I had had my first amateur fight. And I went in and I lit his ass up.
Oh, getting the hands to work early. Drops his man with a beautiful straight right.
It got fight of the night. I got a contract with Cage Warriors after that because I put on such a good show. And that was the start of a chapter where it's like, right, I know how this chapter goes. Because when I get that belt wrapped around my waist, I'm the best guy in Europe at that weight class.
Oh, big shot from Ian Garry! Unbelievable! Ian Garry with a big squeeze! Surely here! Oh, another big head kick! And it's over! And he's got him out! Elbows from Ian Garry. A statement made by the future. Oh, it's a huge head kick! And it's over!
Beautiful finish.
Unbelievable! He's got the star quality, he's got the personality.
He's called the future. He's definitely got a bright future.
Garry! During my undefeated run of Cage Warriors, there was a lot of adversity leading up to my world title fight. I tore my PCL. I was out for 5 weeks. Sat at home crying, worried, stressed about, will I be able to fight? I knew that if I could just walk, I could beat Jack Grant. I could win the world title fight. I knew I could win. I got to a point where I was able to get back into training, and then 10 days out from my world title fight, my team up and abandoned me. They decided that they didn't want to be a part of my journey anymore, that they were done. I didn't really care. I had gone through so much in that camp in regards to mentally from my knee that it didn't bother me. I've got my goal. I've got a world title fight to worry about in 10 days. I had no one named in my corner. I wanted to walk out my own. The fight nearly got pulled because the president of the organization was like, you cannot fight without somebody in your corner. So I went, right, I'll ask my mate, will you do it? He said, yeah. I told him about the game plan. I told him what I was going to do. I told him how I was going to win. And I went in and did exactly that.
Here's the head
So
kick.
far from this young man. The future is his nickname, but the future may very well be in his hands. Nice ground and pound from Ian Garry.
You know, sometimes, oh, that was a good calf kick. Nice.
I won every single strike in exchange. I dominated the fight from round 1 to the end of round 5, and I put on a show. I walked out on my own to a world title fight. No team behind me. I think it was the most enjoyable fight I've had to date. Even with all the struggles, even with all the adversity I had to overcome, the pain in the fight, nothing is going to stop me from winning. And I became a world champion.
Ian Garry!
Within 24 hours of winning that Cage Warriors world title, he had been signed to the UFC and he didn't have anywhere to train. And so we kind of wrote a list of where are the best places, what would be the dream scenario. And I remember actually trying to sort of pad his hopes down a bit and go, you know, write a top 5, but top of the list was Sanford MMA.
Ian came to my gym really by text messages. I don't even know at which gym he trained before. For me, it was just a fighter from Europe wanted to train here for his debut. When I saw him fight in Cage Warrior, I already thought he was something special. And I'm a striker, so I like the striking part. And I think when he works here on his wrestling and on his grappling, and Greg Jones put the work in with him, I think he will be a very dangerous fighter.
The style of wrestling that we do here at Sanford MMA is obviously very foreign to him, and he is welcome to that. Every time I step in the gym, he seeks me out, different ways to learn, different ways to grow, different ways to get better.
Being surrounded by talent with the likes of Gilbert Burns, Michael Chandler, Derek Brunson, Henry Hooft, Greg Jones, all these amazing coaches and training partners, they are elite at what they do. I'm the type of person who strives off being surrounded by the best. I'm blessed to be at Sanford.
Ian's darn talented. There's no denying the fact that he has championship level potential if he really puts himself head first into the sport.
He's a great teammate. He likes to work hard, fit very good in the team. Ian has a bright future. Very young, on a great team. At that young age, if his mind is in the right place, keep motivated, training, I think he's gonna do great.
Conor became the double champ at Madison Square Garden, and the fact that I get to make my debut in the same place is massive for me. It's just a small glimpse of the talent that has stepped foot into that arena. Like, I'm 23 years of age, making my UFC debut at Madison Square Garden. It's not often you hear that.
His future is limitless. He is a man who absolutely believes in himself to such an inspiring and powerful degree that there's no doubt that it will be exactly how he wants it to be.
This is what I want to do, and I don't do this for anybody else other than me. But the fact that I can bring so much joy to my country is massive for me. And I've said it from day one, I want to be the UFC champ. I want to be one of the best fighters to ever live. I'm telling you now, I'm going to be a world champion.